Hi there, smart drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about logbooks and exemption from keeping a logbook in the United States of America. This is for American drivers who are not required to keep a logbook as per the rules for hours of service regulations in the United States. Now, these are a little bit complicated and there are some technical terms which took me a little while to figure out and understand, and hopefully I can clarify some of this for you and relay some of this information to you. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about logbook exemptions for those drivers who don't need to keep a logbook. However, saying that, even though you don't need to keep a logbook because you're following certain rules in the United States according to hours of service regulations, paperwork still has to be kept on the part of your employer. And oftentimes that employer will pass that paperwork down to you, the driver, in the form of a trip sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you today about the rules and the paperwork you need to keep in order to be exempt from keeping a logbook. We'll be right back with that information. Stick around. Hi there, smart drivers. Welcome back. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about logbook exemptions in the United States. In order to be exempt from keeping a logbook in the United States, there's some rules that you need to follow. As well, there's a couple of technical terms that you need to understand. The first technical terms are the difference between interstate and intrastate. If you're working interstate, you're working within a state and not crossing state lines. So for example, if you're in the state of Ohio, you're only operating within the state of Ohio. So if you're working interstate, you can drive or operate within 150 air miles of your home terminal. 150 air miles is approximately 172 land miles. If you're working interstate, you can only work a 100-mile radius from your home terminal. For example, if your home terminal is in California and you're gonna interstate, you're going to run into Nevada, you're going to run into Arizona, and possibly Oregon. So that's interstate, and it's only 100 air miles, which is approximately 115 land miles. And basically what they're doing, the bureaucrats and authorities are basically building in a bit of a buffer there so that you don't get caught out if you're out working and your dispatch sends you out another 10 or 15 miles. So that's the difference between a land mile and an air mile. Land mile is the conventional 5,280 feet, and your air mile is 6,076 feet. So it's a little bit more than a land mile. The next thing is the number of hours that you're able to work in a work cycle. You're allowed to work a 12-hour shift and must have 10 consecutive hours off between work shifts. And you're only allowed to drive a maximum of 11 hours within that 12-hour work shift. So those are the rules that govern and make you exempt from keeping a logbook. As well, you have to work within a work cycle, and the two work cycles in the United States are 70 hours in 8 days and 60 hours in 7 days. Now, you can work on the bigger cycle if your company operates 7 days a week. If your company operates 7 days a week, you can work on the 70 hours in 8 days. They only operate 6 days a week, you work on the less cycle. And you have to keep track of the number of hours that you're working in either one of those cycles, and I'll put a video up here for the complete video on how to calculate your work cycle. As well, you're going to need to keep records of the number of hours that you're working every day and the number of hours that you're working in a work cycle. Now, also know that the work cycle is a rolling work cycle. So if you're working in the 70 hours in 8 days, the hours from 9 days ago drop off and you get those hours back. And again, you'll see that in the video for work cycle calculation. And if you need to reset your work cycle, you can reset it with taking 34 hours off. So the 34-hour reset. And again, I'll put a card up here for you for the 34-hour reset. And finally, the employer needs to keep paperwork, and the employer is going to pass that paperwork off to you. So even if you're not keeping a logbook, you're still going to have to keep records of the number of hours that you work on a daily basis and the hours that you work within a work cycle. And that is often going to come in the form of a trip sheet. And again, I'll put a video up here for you on the complete video on how to fill out a trip sheet and different examples of trip sheets. Trip sheets are a little bit specific to the company that you're working for, so different companies will have different worksheets. All of these rules and regulations are for property transporting vehicles. So in other words, you're not transporting passengers. The rules are a little bit different for passengers, and if you're operating a vehicle that you think you're exempt from keeping a logbook and you're transporting passengers, look up those rules to make sure that you're in compliance. But as I said, this is for transporting freight for the most part and for truck drivers. Question for my smart drivers. If you're exempt from keeping a logbook, what paperwork do you keep instead of keeping a logbook? Leave a comment down in the comment section there. All of that information helps out the new drivers coming into the industry. I'm Rick with Smart Drive Test. Thanks very much for watching. If you like what you see here, share, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section. All of that helps us out. As well, hit that thumbs up button. If you're endeavoring to get your CDL license, check out the videos below. Lots of great information there to help you be successful in your bid to get your CDL license. And as well, check out the videos on the channel. Lots of great information for the work that you're going to do as a professional driver. If you're on a mobile device, check out the cards in the upper right hand corner. Those two will give you links to all of the great videos. Thanks again for watching. Good luck on your road test. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.